Hey, I just wanted to reflect on crazy stuff like buckets in the ceiling and car maintenance. You know, crazy things. And maybe even posting on YouTube. Wow. First, how people's perspectives are. They're, from my vantage point where I work at, I don't know how high the ceilings are, probably 60 feet, maybe. There's a 5-gallon bucket up in the ceiling. And we ended up having some downtime. So I walked over to another area and they couldn't see it because there's a big pipe. So I said, hey, y'all seen that big old bucket? And it's really hot. And they thought I was losing my mind, that I was crazy. And I said, yeah, there's a 5-gallon bucket up in the ceiling. And they couldn't see it. And they're like, one person took a piece of cardboard and was waving it at me, trying to cool me off. The other person, you need to get some water. They thought I done lost my mind or I was delirious. And then I got a couple of them to walk over where I was. And I said, see the bucket? And then it so happened the guy that put the bucket up, he said, yeah, we got a rain leak. So we got the bucket up there to catch the rain leak. And, just certain people, they would not have believed me no matter what, They thought I was going crazy. So the other thing is car maintenance. We bought a car, just kind of reflecting about buying this car. We got a 2007 Toyota RAV or whatever you call it, RAV4, and we got it off of Facebook. So I was trying to save some money. The guy wanted, I think, $7,300 for it. It's a couple years ago. And he didn't realize it had the back tire had a patch in it. So it still had the rubber plug sticking out of it. So I said, well, what about $7,000? He thought about it, and he sold cars. He was familiar with selling cars. So he said, man, I done got about 15 offers wanting to come look at it now. So I said, okay, thank you. So I drove about 1.5 miles, and my wife really gave me the business and told me I was making a very unwise decision, but, more colorful terms. And so I turned around and went back and I said, hey, you still got the car for sale? He said, yeah. So we went ahead and bought it, got the title. And after about 200 miles, the Christmas tree lights come on, and I took it to a car maintenance place, and they said, well, if it's not, these lights are notorious for Toyota, so if it stays on, don't worry about it. So it's very hard. My wife loves to drive. So I bought, getting my oil changes, the place kept telling me, he said, hey, you're losing oil. And it was almost empty by the time I got oil change. Got it. I wasn't checking it and didn't really pay attention, so always check your oil, especially when the cars kind of get a little older. I think we had it 94,000 miles. Not too bad. Now we got about 130. So it's starting to get an oil leak in the valve cover. So I bought the valve cover gasket for $36 a while back. I don't remember when, but I'm still in the box. So my wife comes and she made a deal to, my truck was full of trash, but in the country where we live, the dumps only open on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They're closed on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So she wanted to come use my truck, and she was going to go to a friend of hers, and they were going to pay her to take their trash off. So she said, I'll take the trash off, but I figured, well, I'll just do it Wednesday because I didn't know she was doing that. So she brings the car out. Now, we live on a dirt road, and the car, it's about half a mile of dirt road, and there's like big old mud puddles, and it's kind of rough on the car a little bit, but, it's a sports utility vehicle. It's supposed to be, in a truck, so it's pretty safe. But my daughter, they don't like coming down here because they like washing their cars. But anyway, the Toyota, my wife comes to work, and all of a sudden when she turns into the parking lot, the power steering, the wheels get real hard to turn. She can't hardly turn it. So usually if your battery dies or your car dies while you're driving it, if it's not the power steering, it's probably your alternator. That's what I'm thinking. But she makes it in there, and she wanted the car so she could go get some lunch. And I was on my break. So I go out there, I check under the hood, the battery cable's all corroded. I was like, uh-oh. So I told her we have State Farm, and if you have full coverage, they give you a number you call, and you don't even have to pay for the tow, but you only get like maybe 2 a year. So she called them, they come pick the car up, took it to the car place. And I called them today, and I said, told them about the car, and they said, yeah, I think it's here. I mean, they are good, so they're so busy, they didn't even know they had the car. But a different guy got the car than the one that's talking on the phone. So I told him, well, I need this valve cover gasket done. I think the brakes were making a noise, and then it's not wanting to turn. So I think the battery and the alternator's going. So it's probably going to cost about $1,000. So keep up with the little things, and you won't get a big bill. But, $1,000 is still cheaper than buying a brand new used car for $10,000. With inflation, next week that'll probably be $13,000. Inflation is crazy. 2022. But just recollecting the day and about the cars and all the trouble things are, and it's crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to reflect about posting on YouTube. Now, I started a new channel. It's like Reading the Bible by Mr. O'Wow, and I'll put it in the description. But all I'm doing, give me any ideas or pointers if you like it. I read the Bible a couple times, maybe 3 times, but I wanted to video it, and all I'm doing is just videoing as me reading, and I'm trying to read it the best I know how. And I've done 4 videos, and it's kind of cool because my wife said, there's still people that don't know how to read, and you don't think about stuff like that, but there are. So I just wanted to do it just for fun. The second day after having that channel up, I got a flag that said I violated Google Terms of Service. And then I started looking at other videos that were talking about it, and some people were reading the whole book of Matthew, and I'm thinking, well, what did I do? So I got an email, and I went and I said, hey, what was I doing wrong? All I was doing reading it, and I said, if I did anything wrong, let me know. And they said, about an hour later, I got a reply. I don't know if it's a person or a robot. And it said, well, your channel is working. Sign into it. So I signed in, and it's working. So I guess I automatically got flagged by a robot. So I thought that was kind of crazy because I just wanted to do it for fun, like this channel. But, man, you just had to learn new ways of dealing with things and just go from there. Some things get more complicated. Some things get more easier. but there's always something you got to reflect about. It's like, I didn't see that coming. You know, like used to, people had a bunch of stuff. And I have a bunch of stuff, but not as much as I used to. But some people have so much stuff, it's like, kind of like Scrooge. It's like a big old chain around you. So I'm in favor of, some pictures and all I post on Instagram. And then I don't have to worry about keeping the pictures. I can delete them. But they're there, and if I don't do anything to get, the account shut down, I can always open them up later and look at them, and I think you can download them, so that's cool. Just learning new technology and surviving, and your priorities change and everything, but I just wanted to reflect on buckets in the ceiling, car issues, and, the YouTube, but also the car issues. We bought the tires and got free rotation. We ain't rotated our tires once. So that's another thing we need to do. And my truck's the same issue. I need tires for it too. So, that's something you got to do. But in South Carolina, check with your state taxes. South Carolina, if you keep up with your gas receipts, every time you buy gas, keep up with your mileage and how many gallons you got, especially your gallons. And if you can't always remember, figure out how much miles you get per gallon. Like my truck gets 18, and the Toyota gets 21. So you know your miles, and then you can figure out how many gallons you spent. So you got all your gallons for the year. Keep up with your maintenance you do in your car. Like, I'm going to get a big one this year because I didn't have to do any maintenance last year. Knock on wood. I think I had to buy a battery, but that's it. So you can deduct that on your state taxes, and it could help you out a little bit depending on what bracket you're in. But yeah, you gotta keep it going. But I just thought I'd share that, reflecting on some of my craziness I've been thinking about. Buckets in the ceiling. Yeah, you need some water. So don't forget to subscribe, and talk at you later.